Okay. We are in Shmuel Aleph, Yud Gimel, 13:7. You want 7? 7 it is. Okay. V'ivrim avru ad Yarden. So some Jews passed over the Jordan. Eretz Gad v'Gilad, to the land of Gad and Gilad. V'shal, that's why you asked? Okay. V'shal odenu v'Gilgal. Shal was still in Gilgal. Chol ha'am chardu acharav. And all the nation trembled or followed, is going to be hurried after him. Okay, hurried after him. We talked about that last week. Fine. V'yochal shivat yomim. So he waited 7 days. Lamoed asher Shmuel, to the appointed time that Shmuel said, wait for me for 7 days. Lo ba Shmuel Gilgal, but Shmuel did not come to Gilgal. As a result, v'yafet sa'am me'alav. So the people scattered from him. We don't see Shmuel, let's get out of here. Okay, that's what they're basically saying. So, Malbim says on this, Vayochal, so Mivuar, he explains the word Mivuar, Shaya Shol, Arba, Hitnatzlut. He had 4, I don't want to say lazinesses, but it's, Hitnatzlut is to, he has basically 4 things that are working against him. Al Shamar Divrei Shmuel, on the fact that he didn't follow or guard the words of Shmuel. Sha'amalei Shivat Yamim Tochel Abu Elecha, where she said 7 days wait for me until I come to you. Number 2 was Rov Haskana Shehergish Alav. Number 2 was a large amount of danger that he felt upon him, like we said before. And number 2 was Kihimtin Shivat Yamim Lomoid Asher Yavo Shmuel V'lo Ba Shmuel. Then number 2 for that is 7 days he waited for the appointed time, and Shmuel did not yet come. Okay, then Chishav Shalot Shival Rak Lahamtin Yamim. So he said, it must be that Shmuel only told me to wait for 7 days. V'lo yoter, not more. Shemiksa Yom Kulo. And we all know the famous rule that the small amount of the day of the 7th is considered like the full day, right? When you're sitting Shiva. So what do we always say? That you don't sit the full 7 days. What you do is right after you go to shul, or if there's no shul, right after sunrise basically, or the time people would come to visit you, however you want to look at that. So mitzvah yom kulayom, that a small part of the day is like the whole day. So therefore, the 7th day of mourning turns into also the first day. Well, not the first day, but the shloshim. It's a double header. You can start doing things. You're not restricted to the morning of Shiva. Now you're going into shloshim. Yeah. Because so he says, since it's mixed hayom, a small amount of the day is kul hayom, it's like holidays. So I waited for the 7th day. He didn't show up. He only told me to wait for 7 days. He didn't, and he apparently forgot the words until I come. Okay, fine. So he says, okay, what's going on? So what happens? So the nation was scattering from among him, and he became afraid. Because now he was more alone. Here you have, when you have a lot of people around you, so it's easy to be brave. But when when people are saying, okay, it's time to go home because Shmuel's in here, we're not doing anything, and the enemy is on our border, or looking at us, not even our border, just looking at us, what are we going to do? So what happens is Vayomer. I have to turn the page. Vayomer Shaul. So Shaul said, Hagish Elai, come close to me, approach me. Okay. What's he saying to approach him with? Ha'olam Ishlamim, with the totally burnt offering and the peace offerings via Al Ha'olam. And he brought up the Olah. Okay, fine. So he's starting the sacrifices on his own. Not waiting around. That's because that's what we do, right? So Shaul says, Ki b'chol zeh lo etchil milchama below Shmuel. He did not, with all this, he did not begin the war without Shmuel. Rak hela ha'ola, but he did offer the sacrifice. Shu lachlot et b'nei Hashem shezruhu, and this would be asking Hashem to daven before Hashem to help them. V'chashav sheshmuel lo tzivahu rachshel yilachem ad shediu ma yaseh. And he thought that Shmuel only commanded him not to make war until he knew what he was going to do. Lo al shelo yakriv korban. Not that he shouldn't bring the korban. Okay, so the Malbim is really going to defense here because Shaul makes a major error. The error is he should have waited for Shmuel all the way through, and now Shmuel doesn't show up. So he's making a whole he's making a whole cheshbon, a whole accounting as to what he should be doing and what he shouldn't be doing. His major problem is people are leaving. They're questioning his leadership qualities. Okay, after all, if you're the king, do what you need to do. What are you waiting around for? What are we on the battlefield for? You look like a level here. It's not good. Okay, so you have to do something. So what he does is he says, okay, so bring the sacrifices. We'll put the sacrifices. Now it was when he finished bringing up the Ola. Shmuel comes onto the scene. He comes, and Shmuel goes out to meet him to give him a bracha. In other words, to say, hi, how you doing? That's what bracha means in that case. That's Yud, right? Yeah. The Malbim says, he still had not yet brought the Shlomim offering. If that's when Shmuel comes, so he's right in the middle of the sacrifices. Okay. Now, poor Shaul didn't understand that he was supposed to wait for Shmuel. Okay, so Yomer. So what happens? Yomer Shmuel. Shmuel said, "Ma'asita." What did you do? What did you do? Yomer Shaul. So Shaul says, "Kira'iti kinafatsa amel." I saw that the nation was splitting up, scattering it from me. And you had not yet come according to the appointed time that you set. And the Pelishtim were gathering in Mishmash. It was a trifecta. You have the trifecta here. I have everything going on. I didn't know what to do. So, Vayomer Shaul. So he gives them the four reasons that we mentioned above as to why he did what he did. So, and he said, one, I saw that the nation was splitting, and that you didn't come at the appointed time. Plishtim were gathered at Michmash ve'im keruv me'elav, and they were close to him. Chashav she'yavo eidav v'ratzal kol panim lachalo lepi Hashem. And so he thought that they were going to come, and he just wanted to appease Hashem's face. Okay? No, he wants to appease Hashem. What's the best thing to do when you don't know what to do? You daven. Now, in these days, how they daven?
They made an offering.
Made a sacrifice. Okay, so, if it'll be today, if anybody today would look at him and say, you did a good job. You davened, you let the kihila in a communal prayer, very nice, they all brought their korban, what else should you do? And, it's not going to be a good situation here. So he said, V'yamar, and V'omar, and I said, I being Shaul, Ata yirdu Pelishtim Elai Gilgal. So now the Pelishtim will come down against us in Gilgal. P'nei Hashem lo chaliti, and I have not made supplication before Hashem. V'yetapak. So then I forced myself, V'yaleh ha'olah, and I offered up the burnt offering. I forced myself. I didn't want to do it. Can you imagine? I forced myself. That's what he's saying. V'yetapak. I forced myself, and so. The Malbim explains that the bug what's the more. She calls the man shed pakti lo dechalti mimchama. All this time I forced myself. I didn't want to begin the war, but I brought the offerings. Those not for nothing. Shadamiti sha'ayidei zeh nisaveti. Sorry, because I thought that you did not command. You didn't command me about that. Nimsa havele beit hitnatsu. So now you have two excuses. Mitzada ones from the side of no situation. Shu echad begimel, which is the first and third. Ve'hinatsu habeit ve'adalitz, and the second and fourth claims. were just mistakes that he made according to the explanation of Shmuel. Namely the account of the days, and because he didn't realize that he wasn't supposed to bring the korban by himself.
What does it mean by himself?
Without Shmuel.
Ah.
In other words, you should have waited for me. Shmuel saying you should, that was his mistake. You didn't come. I assumed that they're all attacking me. I have to appease Hashem. So the way to appease Hashem is to daven to the Rebbeinu Shalom and to give sacrifices.
What happened to the role of the Kohen? Is the Kohen supposed to bring a korban, yeah?
The Kohen would bring a korban, yes, in the temple. But here he's on the battlefield.
This is no okay.
So you want to say the Kohen Mashiach should do it. You can argue what you want. But the bottom line is that Shmuel was going to do it because Shmuel was the Navi or the Shofet. So, and he just told, remember, what Shaul has to remember, and what we also have to put back into the equation is, Shaul's power base is only based upon Shmuel's giving him power from God. So, bottom line is, while Shaul is certainly the king, with all that means, still you have a boss.
Yeah.
The boss is ultimately Shmuel. Ultimately God, true, but the immediate boss is Shmuel. Shmuel tells him what to do. He's really what we call a vassal king. At that point, you have somebody else you have to pay attention to. And so when Shmuel doesn't come when Shaul thinks he should have come,
No.
and people are starting to leave because they don't know what to do, or they're getting restless. So then he has to figure out, well, how am I going to, again, I'm the king, I have to do something. That's the problem with leaders, by the way. Well, it really is. It's a problem with leaders, that they don't know how to just wait. Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes you have to just hold your horses and see what's going to happen. You know who else doesn't? Parents have that same problem sometimes. Mm-hmm. Certainly kids do. But people have a problem. They don't know, just wait. Let's see what's going on. Okay, let's see if somebody told me to wait, if my generals told me to wait, I should wait. I don't have to jump at it. People, what's the worst type of punishment? In other words, when you tell your kids, if you do A, then there's going to be a consequence. They do A to test your limits. Okay, and what happens? You come home, you find out they did A. So how do you react? Do you react immediately? Do you go kamikaze? Or do you take your time and let the kid think about it? Which is worse?
The dread.
The dread, right? The kamikaze is easy. I know how to do kamikaze. But when I'm going to make you think about it. And the old story was, I never saw it here because I don't know what it is. I only know the words. When in the South, when the kid would do something wrong, the father would say to him, "Go out and cut a switch. Make the switch good." That was a whip. That was a type of stick. Pick a nice switch for yourself because I'm going to hit you. And the guy has to whittle off, I guess, from what I understand from the thing, they had to whittle down the switch, give it to the father. Now, talk about torture. Here's my weapon of destruction. You're going to use on my behind. Thank you very much. And you do it. Okay, but that was the ultimate punishment. Where the father didn't go kamikaze. He said, okay, you know what you're going to get, so get it. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Shaul should have waited, but he doesn't because he's giving it to the peer pressure. Do something. You know who didn't do it? It's interesting. Out of all other presidents, and I have to admit I wasn't happy with it because I wanted, I was a young whippersnapper myself at those days. But Bush, when we were attacked on 9/11,
The first Bush.
9/11, second Bush. When we were attacked by in 9/11, it was clearly an attack against the United States, a terrorist attack. He took a long time.
Yeah.
Before making it, he took a long time.
Yeah.
Even what's her name while she was going out and already condemning the war, what's her name? Jane Fonda.
Oh.
Even though she was getting all her stuff ready, he took a long time. It like 2-3 months to make a decision on what he was going to do for
It was
that.
like December, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2-3 months. I was thinking, what's going on? All the country songs are going. We're gonna beat you up, and he took his time. He was right. 100% right. You don't act. You don't react because we're expecting you to react. You take your time. Figure out what you want to do. Make it very, very. Whether or not he was good what he did, I don't know because I remember that much. But he took his time. He was very deliberate in the action.
The first response was as immediate as it gets in military circles. They drew up their plan and people were going in.
Yeah, we didn't know about it for a long time.
We didn't, but
Okay.
special forces troops were in
My
Afghanistan
point
almost
is
immediately.
Yeah.
my point is that we the people
Yeah.
didn't know, and we the
Right,
people
right.
were saying, "Why is he taking so long?"
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And
I
he
was saying
didn't.
that, yeah.
He did not give into the social pressure. He didn't. He was very presidential.
And the one who carried it to an extreme was Jimmy Carter.
Now, if you knew who attacked us, let's say Pearl Harbor, we knew the Japanese plane. We knew exactly who attacked us.
Right.
We knew what we had to do.
Right.
In this case, they needed to be planned.
But again, he took his time.
Yeah.
Jimmy didn't know what to do. That was Jimmy's problem. Jimmy was he was overwhelmed.
It was, yeah.
He was just overwhelmed. But even there, by the way, with all his being overwhelmed, that was the thing. He didn't know what to do. He was just caught. He should never have been a president.
No, he should not.
Okay, so fine. Yeah, I'm not saying you sit down and you die. I'm saying, but you take your time. And if Shaul would have taken his time and would have said to the people, "Look, Shmuel says he's going to be here. Don't worry about it. Shmuel's going to come. He saved us before. I have to wait for my officers. I have to wait for the bunch of them. I can't start doing things. I'm going out of order here. Calm down." That's what he should have been doing, calming everybody down. Okay, now let's go on. It's just interesting what a leader, you're seeing what a leader should and should not do. Okay. So he said, Vayomer Shmuel el Shaul, Niskalta. Shmuel said to Shaul, you have acted foolish. Lo shamarta mitzvot Hashem, Elokecha shitzivach. You did not keep the commandment of Hashem, your God, that you were commanded, or that He commanded you. Because now Hashem had prepared your kingdom of Israel forever. In other words, if you would have just done what you were supposed to do, you would have been king forever. Now you have to ask the question. You all know who is the one who the throne is supposed to be with? Which tribe? Yehuda. Which tribe is Shaul from? Benjamin. How can it be? How can it be? How can God say I'm going to give it to Binyamin when you promised that it's going to be to Yehuda? You promised it before, a long time ago.
Lesser king.
That you want to see a lesser king? You can. Some people say what you want to say. He would be we'll split the kingdom up. We'll make him a separate second in charge. Whatever the case is going to be. But it doesn't seem like that here, right? It seems like if you didn't mess up Shaul, your lineage would have gone on forever. Okay, that's what it says. Which is an interesting statement. Okay. So Malbim says in this, Vayomer, in this cult you acted foolishness. That which you thought to be wise with your seichel, with your intelligence, over the words of God, you were in truth you were foolish, and that you did not guard the commandments of Hashem. It's not your job to start explaining things or to start thinking, it must be that you meant this. That's not your job. It's your job is only to fulfill with tamimut, completeness, Tamima is complete when you're doing it completely for the right reasons. That's what it means. Tamim with Hashem. You're perfect with Hashem. Like the words of the Navi. Ube'er lo shehifshid b'shtayim. And he explains to him, you lost two things. Because now Hashem, until now, basically Hashem was prepared to make your kingdom. On Israel works the more Shazeh Hayan Nisayan. Hashem, this was a test from Hashem. V'mhayita Omed bin Zion. And if you would have stood in this test, Hayata Mitzkurcha Miskutecha Shaya Hashem Mechen Mamlachta Be'inyan Shaya Nimshach Harolam. If you have just passed this one test, a simple test, your reward would have been that Hashem was prepared to make your kingdom an everlasting kingdom. Okay? That's what he's saying. And now, mamluchta lo takum. But now your kingdom will not be long-lasting. Because Hashem lo ish kilvavo. Hashem wanted a person after his own heart. Vayisaveo Hashem lenagid alamo. And Hashem has appointed him to be a ruler over his people. Kilo shamarta, because you did not keep his word. And that which Hashem commanded you. So he has he's telling him right now, your kingdom won't go, and Hashem is now looking for, or has sought for, a person, a man after his own heart. Okay? Not a good thing to hear, by the way, in your first battle out. So he says, there's going to be a real punishment here. Ki ata lo levad. It's not now. It's not enough. Shlo yachin Hashem ev memachto. It's not enough that Hashem won't establish your kingdom. Ki kam malachtecha kamo shehu ata gam kain lo tchum. Even that which you have now, the little bit you have now, the power you have now, won't be. Ki natna Hashem ish acher ba'onesh, because Hashem has already given that power to somebody else. As a punishment, because you did not guard what Hashem said to you, v'gama amarlo, and he also said to him, da ki ma shechashavta ba'avrucha al devarai, that which is considered to transgress on my words, she'malachtucha nimshach le'inyan tavai, that your kingdom, your reign, would be in a natural manner, kafi tachsisi milchama, according to the ways of war. And that's why you didn't trust in Hashem. Lidom Hashem, to be silent to him and just to wait for him. Who sichlut? That is the foolishness. Ki im haya meichin Hashem because that if Hashem prepared your kingdom, shezeh haya im hayita mashlich yahavcha alav, that he would have put it upon you. Oh haya mitkayem aralam. Then if you would just follow that, he would have kept you for good. But since you decided that you're the king and you don't have to wait for Hashem, as it were, you're taking rulership, because you went by the natural order. And since you're relying upon normal war, you're not going to last. The counsel of Hashem is opposite you, or it's in front of you, if you will. That Hashem chose from himself, person according to his own heart. Hashem yimshach achar, it's something that will go after Hashem's will. Ya'an shebechal lo matzah chafetz, because in you he did not find this desire. So Hashem, So Shmuel is giving him real mussar here. That says Hashem wants somebody who's going to follow him. And you, even though you were picked, you're not the man. You have to feel sorry for Saul. Saul all the way through was saying, I don't want the job, leave me alone, you must have the wrong guy. He says, no, you were the right guy. He gives him the signs, he sees he's the right guy. And when he comes to his first bump on the road, and what happens? Okay, you lost. What are you talking about? It's not fair. How about a second shot? No, think about that. You're at the top of the game, and you didn't want to be there. It's not like you wanted to be there, but that's what happens. You know what they say about power, right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So here, this is what he's saying. If you would have just continued on with that with your original thing of I don't want to be the king, and really God's the king sort of mentality. So then this wouldn't have happened because he would have told the people we have to wait for the Navi. So it would have been that simple. So what happens? V'yakam Shmuel, v'yal el Gilgal Givat Binyamin. So Shmuel arose and he went from Gilgal to Givat, to the mountains or the hills of Binyamin. V'yivkod Shaul el ha'am imimo, and Shaul counted the people that were with him, Kishesh Miot each, approximately 600 men. That's all he has with him. Which is a small amount, actually, when you think about it. Okay, so the Malva explains, Vayakam Shmuel v'Shaul imo. So Shmuel and Shaul are going up. And they come to give out Binyamin. Shisham Yonatan V'Yanashab. Because that's where Yonatan was Shaul's son. And his men are there. Before Ki Me Elef Shayu Im Yonatan. That now he tells you that the 1,000 that were with Yonatan, Mibeit Alafim Shayim Shaul, and 2,000 that were with Shaul. Lo Nish'aru Rak Sheish Meot. From those 3,000 men, only 600 remained.
Out of both groups.
So, apparently so. The rest of the nation scattered. Because he was told that their hand was very much into the war going to nature. And that's why they need only 600, right? Because if you had the 3,000, so then it would be real warfare. Then you could blame it on actual tendencies of war. That we have 3,000, you have whatever you have, okay? And so you can win. But when you start reducing those numbers, people are going home or scattering because they don't trust the king. So then you have a real miraculous victory. Either that or you're running, I'm sure that if somebody looks at these war plans, they would say it's because it was a guerrilla warfare, everything else. Of course, who was going to expect 600 people to win? Could have all the different excuses going on, but nonetheless, you can imagine what the people must have felt though. Right? Here you have the king. Again, you have your enemies all around, and what we say, they looked like they had so many people that looked like the sands of the sea. In other words, you're looking at these tremendous enemies. Right. Okay. You have all these people attacking you, and all you really have, by the way, is 3,000 people. And you have all those people behind you. Here's in front of you, and they're already attack and kill. So, you're looking to the king who was picked by God. You all agreeing, you all have no problem with that. You said he's a king, right? He had one victory on his corner. And now we're faced with this other situation, and he's sitting there twiddling his thumbs in your mind. You don't have much confidence in this guy anymore. So you figure, well, okay, I could do one of two things. I can go home, because whoever wins, I'll be under their power anyway, it doesn't matter. If I have to pay taxes to Shaul, I have to pay taxes to the people who are attacking me. What does it matter who I'm paying taxes to? They'll leave me alone, he'll leave me alone. So what I'll do is I'll just go home. Then I won't be part of the blame. Okay? I could easily hear that. Because when I think I'm going to lose, it's over. It's the same thing as, why don't people like to go and vote? We always talk about low voter turnout.
Because it won't count anything.
The people have convinced themselves that it doesn't count. That's a waste of time. And really, what they're saying is, it doesn't matter who wins. We're not going to do it. Nothing's really going to change. Even with Obama, who said, what was this thing? Fundamental. I'm going to fundamentally change the country. That was his words.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to change. I don't want to mix his words up. Or
they started mixed up, but go.
Or whatever. Or you also have the others, Trump, who make America great again, MAGA. Okay, they all have something cute. But what are they actually doing? So I'm not really asking that question. Okay, so I'm not really interested in hearing the answers. Okay, but what you have is the person like me who sits in South Bend, Indiana. I still have to pay my taxes to the system, and either I'm going to get a couple more dollars on my paycheck, or they're going to take a couple more dollars off my paycheck. Either I'm going to have insurance, I'm not going to have insurance. Whatever the case is going to be, either you're going to make I have to have insurance, you can rip me off, or you rip me off the other way. Well, it doesn't really matter. Bottom line is, I'm just a peon on this in the system. And I have to put up with whomever it's going to be. So what we try to do is make it so the Congress can't do anything. And Zygazund. You get the Republican president, you get the truth is that it hasn't worked in a couple of years. You know, it's interesting. It's for the past two elections. Yeah, well, four actually.
Yeah.
Past two elections. The beginning was Obama. It was Democratic president with super Democratic Congress, where they could have passed anything, and this time it was the other way. A quote unquote Republican president with a quote unquote Republican Congress, where they should have been able to do anything, and they didn't lose badly. Actually, I'm seeing in the new election they haven't lost badly. All these runoffs, for some reason the Republicans are still taking it. It's so amazing to me that the Democrats with all their motivation, they can't get people to vote for them. But anyway, that's what you're seeing. People are just tired of it. They figure, leave me alone. I'm going to sit in my... So I'm not going to vote. I'll complain like we can, because that's Americans. We like to complain about whoever is in office. But and we'll complain, but it really doesn't do anything. It's just a matter of fodder. You know, it's something to talk about at the bar. But and that's how I think that these people must have felt. That what's the use? If I'm going to pay taxes to him or to him, what's the matter? So that's why you would see such a fallout of people, again, from 3,000 to come up with 600. That's all you're going to get. Some major fallout.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it says like this. So Saul v'Yonatan beno v'am nimsa imo. Imam, that Saul and his son Yonatan and the nation that was found with them. I like how that's they say who were present. Yeah. But Nimsa is the ones who were found. That's what it really means. With them, Yoshim beGeva Binyamin. They were staying in or stationed in Geva Binyamin, which is the name of the place. Okay, Pelishtim Chanu Michmash, and once again the Pelishtim are encamped in Michmash.
The ones who were found with them. In other words, the ones who didn't run off. They were
found they were found with them. They didn't leave. I bet it's just amazing language that you hear in this. Okay, so it says. So he says, "Rishal Shaya Machne Ha'oyev." This was the camp of the enemies that were coming close to them. Their entire camp was in Michmash, which was Ir Malchut Shaul, which was the city of Shaul's kingdom. That's where he was. Fine. Okay, fine. And so next one is Mashchit. So the raiders went out from the camp of the Pelishtim with 3 companies. Harosh Echad Yifne El Derech Afram El Eretz Shaul. The first company turned to the road leading to Afra, which is the land of Shual. The Harosh Echad Yifne, the second troop turned Derech Beit Charon to the way of Beit Charon. The Harosh Echad, the last one, Yifne Derech Agvu, went to the road, turned to leading to the road of the border. Hanishkaf Al Gei had Savoim Hamidbara, that overlooked the valley of Savoim toward the wilderness. Okay, so that's your 3, how they break up. And he says, Gavar Nafutsu HaMashchitim, also already these raiders had split up Shiatsu Lahashkid at Aretz, the Shlosha Rashim, that the raiders were going out to destroy the land. They split into 3 groups. And there was no power in their hands to refrain them to restrain them from doing what they're doing. Again, you have three groups. If they're all attacking you, frontal attacks, so you go out, you do your best. But it's when they're all coming from different directions, it's really hard to combat that. Okay. So it says, "V'charash lo yimatzei b'chol eretz Yisrael," and there was no smith, no iron guy that would be found in all of Israel. Ki amru Pelishtim, because the Pelishtim had said, "Pen yasu ha'ivrim cherav ochanit," lest the Jews will make for themselves swords or spears. So when the Pelishtim were in charge, they outlawed smithing. Okay, so it says, and Malvin says, "Shlaya Efshar," that it would not be possible at all. Shechinu kali milchama, that they would prepare for themselves weaponry. Kilon nimsa charash barzal, because there was no ironsmith b'chol eretz Yisrael in all of the land. Ad shbe'ed hatzrichu liltosh eklei machashtam, until the time that they needed to sharpen their plows. Hayu muchrachim ol redet the bishtim. So when they had to do that, they had to go down to Pelishtim. Oh, shall tushem im hakli, or they sharpen it with tools. Sheyesh lomar piyot harbe, so they would have a lot of teeth in it. Hagam she'en shamai sa'uman. Still, this wasn't the best way to do it. Okay, so they would sharpen. You ever try to sharpen your knife with a? In other words, you have a steel, right? That's a good way to do it. Okay, fine. The best way is with a wheel.
Whetstone.
What?
Whetstone.
Whetstone, good. That's it. And you go like that. You can make it sharp, and everything's good. The worst way to do it is with a rock.
Oh.
Well, there's the flat whetstone.
Say again?
The one that spins whetstone.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's good. But if I have just a rock or something like that, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that apparently they had to do it in a non-professional manner because they weren't allowed to have smiths. Why? Because if I would allow you, as we said, if I would have allowed them to have smiths, then they could have made their own weapons.
It's gun control.
Gun control, right? Gun control. You're seeing how this works, but it won't work for the Pelishtim. But that's what it was. And apparently there was no underground smiths. I'm guessing. Smithing is pretty loud. So, but it's
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
yeah. So you're having this good call, gun control. They were outlawing guns, and only the Pelishtim could have the guns or the swords at this point. Sorry again?
They're outlawing manufacturing even. Not just owning, it's manufacturing. You can't have any manufacturing in the country. Only in
Smithing. You can't have smithing.
No,
Like,
but
they,
only in
they,
our-
not only did they cease possession of it, they ceased manufacturing of it.
Right. Again, smithing.
But like there was a move on.
You can have. Remember, you had the plows.
Right.
So
Right.
plows were metal, but if you had to sharpen them, you had to go to them.
Remember a few years ago, there was a talk about outlawing bullets or limiting the number of bullets you could buy. So that's almost like
they're
a
still on that.
similar principle.
Right. Good.
Ancient tactic. Disarming.
Say again?
Ancient tactics, disarming the populace.
Yes.
When axes are outlawed, only outlaws will have fires.
When axes are only.
Outlaws will be able to have fires.
Interesting enough, though, it seems that they followed this rule. So you have to figure out how they enforced it.
Ooh.
Really, I mean, how do you enforce a rule like that? No smithing, and I'm not going to do it.
As you said, it's noisy.
Okay.
But then you have to patrol.
It's pretty conspicuous to set up a forge.
Confiscate the whetstones, right?
All right.
Not really hard punishments. And
Say again?
If you're out in the wilderness and somebody hears a sound, they bring just really heavy force down on it. Like,
Well, I mean, if they did in the wilderness.
yeah,
Right.
it's like
So-
you
so
will
the
find
risk-
you even in the
The
wilderness.
risk of punishment is greater than the reward of having
Right.
a sword. So if you get caught doing this,
Yeah.
your entire tribe gets flayed alive.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Good enough. Good enough. Done. Okay.
Thank God for Dremel tools.
What's a Dremel tool?
Little fashioned.
It's a handheld rotary tool with which you can do an amazing number of things, including roll your own milling if you don't have access to A computerized milling machine.
Okay, there you go.
Takes a deft hand, but
Okay. Vayerdu kol Yisrael Pelishtim. So all of so we're just saying the story. All of the Jews would go down to Pelishtim Lildosh Ish et Macharashto to sharpen their with his plowshare. We had Eto and a coulter. We had Kardumo and his axe. You want to get that door, please?
Yeah.
We had Macharasheto and also his Matak. How are you, sir?
Good, you?
All right, what's going on?
Sir, I have to get to a pole back here behind your residence with a small truck to work on the power lines. Is that going to be okay?
You're the president.
What, just to drive in, man?
Yeah, we just got to drive right back by your tree and your swing set back
sure,
here. And it looks real hard and everything.
If you sink down, you have to plow it out yourself.
If I sink through those roots, I'm going to be in trouble. You guys have a good day. Thank you.
It's a, okay.
your residence.
Huh?
Your residence, right?
Okay. I said president. Former president, yes. Okay, so anyway, what's a mattock, by the way? Some sort of...
It's a hatchet.
A mattock.
what?
It's like a hat. It's like a
Hatchet? Thank you.
Really big hatchet.
Or an axe.
Yeah.
An axe?
Do you know what a pickaxe looks like?
That's what the point?
Yeah, the other side of that is a mattock.
Never heard of it.
Some-
Oh, okay.
That flat side, yeah. Some of
Oh,
them-
the flat thing is? Okay,
Yeah.
It's
fine.
a coulter.
It's like a hoe.
Oh, there you go.
You can
Oh,
dig into
all
the
these
ground,
sharp
dig in-
things.
Yeah, or dig into a tree.
All right, all the short things. Okay, so that's what it is.
That's a weaponry.
You know, if you were in yeshiva, when you would have said, what's the culture? I would have said the culture is an Eto.
yeah.
What's an Eto? A culture. What's a culture? An Eto. That's what you do. Okay, so anyway, so that's what, we already said they had to go down there. Fine, because we didn't have any what do you call it? Anybody that could do it in Israel. Good. So what happens? And also, there's also a file for the mattocks and for the coulters. Shlosh Kilshon Lardumim Latziv Hadarban, and also the three prong pitchforks and the axes to set the goad. Okay, fine. So all these things they had to go. What does it say here? Anything cute? No. Well, it says to set the goad is to sharpen it at the tip, to insert it and set it into the handle. The goad was composed of a sharp, pointed, thorn-like instrument set in a wooden handle. This was used to prick the oxen in order to guide them in pulling the plow. Wow, people are cruel. Okay. Okay, so Vayi Vayom Milchamet, I assume they still do it today, right? You have to prod the things to move.
Cattle prod.
Yep.
It's electrical now. High tech.
But, sorry?
High tech. It's electrical now. It's high tech.
There you go. Vayi Vayom Milchamet. So now it was on the day of war. Lo nimsa cherev v'chanit v'yad kolam. So the entire populace, as you said, was unarmed. They didn't have a sword nor a spear. At Shaul, we had Yonatan. That was with found in possession with Shaul and Yonatan, but Shaul and Yonatan had them. Why they have them? It's a good shaila why they had them. Okay, so let me just do one more pasuk. Vayetze matzah Pelishtim el ma'avri Michmash. So the garrison of Pelishtim went out to the side of Michmash. So the Malbim says it was on the day of war. B'milchama hazum shenolda lehem, this war that was beginning. So pitom lo haya lehem kulam. They didn't have everything except for Shaul and Yonatan. They all the other ones who had the charet, the sword and the spear. Milchamad shavis b'samuf nifrad k'mo mishmaret. So the war was equal in this, okay, and they would have to go. Vayetze, that's the last one, right? Vayetze, they were, in that they were weakened opposite the camp of the Pelishtim. Am Rav Achuze Cherev who all were grabbing the swords. Yatzim Atzah Pelishtim, Lavo Tzad Shaul. So these people are now approaching Shaul. Hechel Rosh V'Yikabir Bo Milchama, and the war was about to begin. We'll stop there.
Did it say why Shaul had swords?
Say it again.
Did it say why Shaul had swords? Or just he had swords? He found some?
Shaul and Yonasan for some reason had swords.
Right, but did it say or
The
no?
people,
It just said the people got the swords from them, but it didn't say how they got the swords to begin with.
no, right.
Okay.
I guess it got from the underground.
Got 'em.